With almost 500,000 customers and over $1 trillion of secure payments, Bill isn't new to intelligent finance. It's the proven way to simplify bill pay and maximize cash flow. Want to learn more? Visit Bill.com/proven for a special offer.
Security and compliance done wrong is a giant headache. Security and compliance done right, that's Vanta. Vanta helps you earn trust and speed up growth. No spreadsheets required. For startups low on time and resources, Vanta becomes your first security hire, using AI and automation to get you compliant fast and unblock big deals. For enterprises, Vanta is your AI-powered hub for compliance and risk, bringing together data from across your businesses and automating workflows so you can prove trust at any moment. Vanta scales with you at every stage. That's why top companies, from startups like Cursor to enterprises like Snowflake, choose Vanta. Do security and compliance right. Get started today at vanta.com/TEDaudio.
It's Saturday the 7th of March. I'm Ciara Evans, and this was a week that saw the US and Israel go to war with Iran, new rules for asylum seekers in the UK, Ukraine get their hands on Russia's plans, and big winners at the Brits and the Actors Awards.
Grab a cup of something hot, put up your feet, and get up to speed on the 7 biggest stories of the week. This is the Standout 7 from the Smart 7.
It's news,
but not the news.
This week has seen the US and Israel wage a campaign of destruction on Iran, launching thousands of strikes on military targets in a move that took European allies by surprise. Last Saturday morning, an 8-minute video from President Trump appeared on social media, warning that bombs will be dropping everywhere and urging Iranians to rise up against the vicious regime. Early Israeli strikes took out the Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei and as many as 48 of Iran's senior leaders. Iran's permanent representative at the UN, Amir Said Irvani, said the attack was not approved or justified.
The number of innocent civilians continues to rise. This is not only an act of aggression, it is a war crime and a crime against humanity.
Early polling during the week suggested that only 1 of 4 Americans approve of the strikes, and that was before 3 US servicemen were killed. On Monday, oil and gas prices began to rise as the conflict in the Middle East sparked concern in financial markets. Iran continued to strike at other Arabic countries in the region, including hitting a refinery in Saudi Arabia, while Qatar shot down 2 Iranian jets, and there was continued disruption of shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, Hezbollah fired rockets into Israel from Lebanon, and Israeli PM Netanyahu visited a site at Bet Shemesh where an Iranian missile killed 9 people.
I've said for many years that they threaten not only Israel and not only America. They chant death to Israel, death to America. That's their ultimate target. But I said that they would also target those in between, that they would target Europe. They did.
US Central Command said over 1,200 sites have been targeted in the first 48 hours of the military action, with at least 6 US servicemen killed. US President Trump spoke to media on Monday evening, claiming that everything was proceeding according to plan.
We're already substantially ahead of our time projections. We projected 4 to 5 weeks, but we have capability to go far longer than that. We'll do it. Whatever somebody said today, they said, oh, well, if the president wants to do it really quickly, after that he'll get bored. I don't get bored.
On Tuesday, the US and Israel continued to launch strikes at targets across Iran, and Israel reported that it struck a key compound involved in developing nuclear weapon capabilities. Iran has also announced the closure of the crucial oil route that flows through the Strait of Hormuz, which sparked an intervention from the US president. Trump said the US Navy will escort oil tankers if necessary, and ordered that the US provide insurance cover for tankers in the Strait. On Wednesday, the US Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, held an extraordinary press conference which saw him make a series of threats as he boasted about American military actions in Iran. He revealed that a US submarine had sunk an Iranian military vessel, killing at least 87 people off the coast of Sri Lanka. He pledged that the Pentagon would sustain the war for as long as necessary, and talked about death and destruction raining from the skies above Tehran. He also made mention of the death of the leader of an Iranian military unit, which the US had claimed was behind an assassination plot against the US president in October 2024.
The leader of the unit who attempted to assassinate President Trump has been hunted down and killed. Iran tried to kill President Trump, and President Trump got the last laugh.
By Thursday, it still wasn't clear what the American plan was or if there was one. And Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on Wednesday said that boots on the ground is still on the table. As the week continued, America and Israel continued to pound Iranian forces. Late Thursday night and early Friday morning saw Israel launch a series of attacks in Beirut and Tehran, while Iran launched missiles at Tel Aviv. And there were reports of intercepts of Iranian drone strikes by Saudi Arabia. Admiral Brad Cooper of US Central Command said that the US has now sunk more than 30 Iranian vessels, including what he called an Iranian drone carrier ship that was the size of a World War II aircraft carrier. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, who has refused to get involved in the conflict, held a conference during the week and said the attacks must stop.
We must learn from history and cannot play Russian roulette with the fate of millions of people. The powers involved in this conflict must immediately cease hostilities and commit to dialogue and diplomacy.
Even though the US and Israeli strikes took allies by surprise, there was a general welcome for the news that Ayatollah had been killed, with EU Foreign Policy Chief Kaja Kallas describing it as a defining moment in Iran's history. Donald Trump's approach to Iran, which has seen close cooperation with Israel but no coordination with traditional European allies, has left the US somewhat isolated as it continues to strike at the Iranian regime. Sunday evening saw Prime Minister Keir Starmer address the nation, saying that the government had learnt a lesson from the Iraq War, but would allow UK bases in the Gulf to be used by the US.
President Trump has expressed his disagreement with our decision not to get involved in the initial strikes. But it is my duty to judge what is in Britain's national interest. That is what I've done, and I stand by it.
Starmer has been unapologetic over the UK's refusal to participate in the US military action, and he shrugged off criticism from the US president on Monday. Trump said that he was very disappointed that the UK didn't give the US access to bases for the initial strikes, but the PM says his priority remains the UK. The PM was criticised from both the right and the left, with the Green Party calling for a parliamentary vote on any UK involvement in the war. Meanwhile, Tory leader Kemi Badenoch was critical of what she called dither and delay, as she urged the PM to support the US action.
But sometimes when things are moving quickly, we can't spend time with lots of people giving speeches written by ChatGPT about stuff that they don't know about.
As the week progressed, Trump continued to show his unhappiness with his European allies, threatening to end all trade with Spain as they refused to allow US planes to use joint military bases. And he's still annoyed with the UK and Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
By the way, I'm not happy with the UK either. It's taken 3-4 days for us to work out where we can land there. It would have been much more convenient landing there as opposed to flying many extra hours. This is not Winston Churchill that we're dealing with.
The British position remains that UK forces will defend citizens in the region, and polling suggests that Keir Starmer's decision not to get involved in attacks is the correct one. Cabinet Minister Darren Jones says he's confident that the long-term relationship with the US will recover.
So our interests now are to make sure that we are defending British citizens as best we can, and that the ability for the Iranians to fire missiles out indiscriminately across the region comes to an end as quickly as possible.
On Wednesday, Prime Minister Question Time was dominated by the US and Israeli action in Iran. Keir Starmer was sticking to his position, but he was still annoyed by the US president's criticism.
Sharing intelligence every day to keep our people safe. That is the special relationship in action. Hanging on to President Trump's latest words is not the special relationship.
Most polls show that the British public are in agreement with a strategy that keeps the UK out of the conflict, but Tory leader Kemi Badenoch has a different view and isn't concerned about the legality of the US war.
International law matters, but if international law is protecting terrorists and tying the hands of countries that are trying to do the right thing, then very clearly something is wrong.
With a new war underway in the Middle East, a dramatic shift in the UK's political landscape may have slipped under the radar. But there was history made as the Green Party won their first ever by-election victory. Hannah Spencer, a former plumber and now MP, was the winner in the Manchester constituency of Gorton and Denton, finished ahead of Reform and pushed Labour into third place. There's been controversy as Reform have complained about so-called family voting in the constituency, but a win for the Greens in a safe Labour seat gave the party cause for celebration. New Green Party leader Zach Polanski was delighted with the victory, which has helped to push Green Party membership above 200,000 people.
Hannah Spencer won with a majority of over 4,000, so I think it turns out that she did pretty well on her own. And I think that was actually largely not because of international issues. I think that's because of the Green Party's pledge to lower people's bills, protect the National Health Service and rebuild our public services.
With the government moving ahead with its plans to dramatically reshape the asylum system, Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood confirmed significant changes on Monday. Any asylum seeker who is given refugee status in the UK will now only be entitled to temporary protection, a rule change that took effect from Monday this week. Each new asylum seeker's case will be reviewed every 30 months, after which they could be returned to their country of origin if it is deemed safe to do so. For those already claiming asylum, they have 5 years protection and the opportunity to bring family to the UK. But the Home Secretary has been considering another option to reduce the backlog that could see some asylum seekers offered up to £30,000 to withdraw their application and return home.
I know it sort of sticks in your craw, basically, to think that you're going to pay people who've come to your country illegally to leave and go back. What I would say to people, though, is when you look at the numbers, to house somebody in asylum accommodation in a hotel, it costs £53,000 a year.
Tuesday saw Chancellor Rachel Reeves deliver her spring statement with a simple message: was that this government has restored economic stability.
This is the right plan, a plan that is more necessary than ever before in the world of uncertainty. Resilient public finances, and in every part of Britain, working people better off.
The problem for the Chancellor is that even as she is projecting lower inflation and interest rates, the world economy has been thrown into turmoil by Donald Trump's war against Iran, with spikes in energy prices, which may see inflation rise and growth in the economy falter. Tory Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride didn't seem too impressed by the plans as laid out, however.
Is that it? What utter complacency. A Chancellor in denial. She speaks of stability. What planet is the Right Honourable Lady on?
There was a fresh spying scandal in Westminster on Wednesday, as once again it was China that was at the centre of the accusations. The Met Police arrested 3 men in London and Wales as part of what they called a counter-terrorism policing investigation under the National Security Act. Police didn't name the men, but Scottish Labour MP Joni Reid issued a statement after it became apparent that one of the men is her husband, David Taylor. Reid says she has never seen anything to make her suspect that her husband has broken any law, and also pointed out that she has never been to China or spoken on any China-related matters. By Friday, she had resigned the Labour whip while an internal investigation was being carried out. Security Minister Dan Jarvis says that the authorities are taking the issue very seriously.
China presents a series of threats to the United Kingdom. We remain deeply concerned by an increasing pattern of covert activity from Chinese state-linked actors targeting UK democracy.
Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood formally announced her new policies on asylum seekers on Thursday. The scheme, which is loosely modelled on the Danish system, will see asylum become limited in duration, with assessments every 30 months for new applications, which could see them return to their country of origin if it is deemed safe. More controversially, the Home Secretary suggested that families of failed asylum seekers might be offered up to £10,000 per person, capped at 4 people. If they voluntarily leave the country, she's also keen to attract skilled workers who want to be part of UK society.
I want people to put down roots in this country and to contribute to our national life. But it is essential that the privilege of living in this country forever is earned and not automatic.
Tony Vaughan is a backbench Labour MP who very much disagrees with the Home Secretary's proposal, and he sent a letter to her signed by up to 100 other Labour MPs to protest.
The idea that a family who may have fled persecution, rebuilt their life here in the UK, should constantly feel under the threat of removal, I think isn't good for them, it's not good for communities, and it's not good for the country.
While the world is focused on the new war in the Middle East, Russia's war in Ukraine continues. There was a sharply different reaction to the war from the two sides this week, with Ukrainian President Zelensky supporting US and Israeli strikes against Tehran, while Russia condemned the attacks as an unprovoked act of armed aggression. The next round of peace talks between the US, Ukraine and Russia was due to take place in Abu Dhabi in early March, but with the Middle East in chaos, it's hard to see how that could happen. Ukrainian President Zelensky sat for an interview with Sky News last weekend, and he said that he is even prepared to meet face-to-face with Putin, but at a suitable location.
I'm not playing games with Putin. I'm ready to meet and I'm ready to speak.
But on neutral ground?
Even not neutral, but not Russia. and not Belarus, because they are allies during this war. Belarus is passive aggressor.
There was some good news for Ukraine on Tuesday as new data from the Institute for the Study of War showed that Russia's advance slowed to a crawl in February, while Ukrainian troops made several key breakthroughs on the front line. This is part due to Elon Musk's intervention, which has seen Russia lose access to the Starlink internet system, which has severely impacted their ability to use frontline drones. Ukrainian sources also announced that they had managed to get their hands on Russia's battle plans for 2026 and 2027. Ukrainian President Zelensky says the plans show that Russia is still intent on taking the remainder of the Donbass region and that Putin's forces are also targeting the port city of Odessa.
We understand what they want. We understand that their directions remain relevant, and they want to continue the occupation of the east of our country. But look, they have nothing to do with reality yet, because they cannot fulfill the task.
Still to come on the Standout 7, the big winners from last weekend's Brits and the Actors Awards.
Right after this.
When it comes to managing money, forget the hype and look at the results. Bill has $1 trillion of secure payments powering our bill pay tools. Instead of just moving money, Bill is powering the financial operations of nearly 500,000 customers. So stop the guesswork and start scaling with the proven choice. Ready to talk with an expert? Visit Bill.com/proven to get started. And grab a $250 gift card as a thank you. Terms and conditions apply. See offer page for details.
Youth mental health is a complex challenge that requires comprehensive solutions. We must strengthen after-school programs. We must make digital literacy tools available in our schools. We must work with mental health professionals to support children. And we must empower mentors, educators, and parents to keep kids happy. Learn more about our commitment to finding lasting solutions at empowerourfuturecoalition.com/solutions. Paid for by the Coalition to Empower Our Future.
Welcome back.
Tuesday marked 5 years since the murder of Sarah Everard by serving Met Police officer Wayne Cousins, who is now serving a whole life jail term for the murder. Met Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley paid tribute to Sarah's family on Tuesday, commending their extraordinary dignity in the face of unbearable grief. Sarah's mother Susan wrote a tribute to her daughter, which was published by British Vogue, who she said led her life with decency and integrity. Former Victims Commissioner Dame Vera Baird says, sadly, 5 years on from Sarah's murder, that there hasn't been much improvement despite the Met Police efforts and a government committed to reduce violence against women and girls.
I mean, on policies, they've got lots of great policies now. Papers, that's right. Safety of women, confidence of women, I doubt that that's moved forward much at all.
Last weekend saw the Brit Awards take place in Manchester, celebrating the best of British and international musical talent. The big winner was Olivia Dean, who picked up 4 awards, including Best Album, Song of the Year and Best British Artist. The event also featured a tribute to the Prince of Darkness, with Robbie Williams leading an all-star band, while Sharon and Kelly Osbourne accepted a Lifetime Achievement Award for Ozzy, who died in 2025. It was the first time in 50 years that the Brits hasn't been held in London, and local Mancunian legend Sean Ryder made his unique presence felt on the red carpet.
If fuck doing it, I'm going to go up on stage and cause controversy.
You're not going to show your bottom, are you?
I could do, but I'm on them injections now for fat, so I don't have an arse anymore, Diane. Been on it for about 5 years. That's why I got no arse. That's why I look like Sharon Osbourne now. Gorgeous.
Awards season is in full swing, and last Sunday night saw the SAG Awards take place in LA. Now branded as the Actor Awards, they were hosted by Kristen Bell and saw some surprises, with Ryan Coogler's vampire drama Sinners winning big, including Best Actor for Michael B. Jordan. Jessie Buckley won Best Actress for Hamnet, and there were multiple wins for The Pit, along with wins for Adolescence and The Studio, which saw a posthumous Best Actress award for Catherine O'Hara. Harrison Ford received a Lifetime Achievement Award and was deeply moved.
I'm indeed a lucky guy. Lucky to have found my people. Lucky to have work that challenges me. Lucky to still be doing it. And I don't take that for granted.
With just a week to go until the Academy Awards, speculation has been mounting about who is most likely to get their hands on the Oscar statuettes. Ireland's Jessie Buckley has a firm grip on the Best Actress prize, having won pretty much every major award so far. But Sunday saw Sinners roar back into contention after the movie, which has 16 Oscar nominations, regained some momentum lost during awards season. An ensemble cast win plus wins for director and writer Ryan Coogler suggest that there could be gold in their future, and the Best Actor win for Michael B. Jordan has upset Timothée Chalamet's run at the Oscars. Michael was staying humble after he picked up his award.
It's special. You know, Ryan Coogler created something, a world and space and room for actors to have a field day, and gave us layers and nuances for us to dive into and to dissect.
You've been listening to The Smart 7. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Hit that follow button and have a great day. Give us 7 minutes and we'll give you the world.
Over 90 of the top 100 U.S. accounting firms trust Bill to simplify and secure bill pay. That's proven financial infrastructure built on over $1 trillion of secure payments. Visit Bill.com/proven for a special offer.
Youth mental health is a complex challenge that requires comprehensive solutions. We must strengthen after-school programs. We must make digital literacy tools available in our schools. We must work with mental health professionals to support children. And we must empower mentors, educators, and parents to keep kids happy. Learn more about our commitment to finding lasting solutions at empowerourfuturecoalition.com/solutions. Paid for by the Coalition to Empower Our Future.